Hi, this is Tony from Cooking Around. Today we're going to make banana bread, my favorite. I make it the old-fashioned way and some other goodies in there. So let's get on with our banana bread. Now you know that I like to sift everything. So what we're going to do is we take 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Some gets away on the side, don't worry about it. And you know that I like everything to be sifted because it just basically makes everything more fluffy and more light. And it's done. Now we add 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now you can use white. I like to use brown because I like the richness of the molasses inside there. About 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and about 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. About 1/2 teaspoon of salt, not too much, a little bit more, you know how I like it. 1 egg slightly beaten. And about 1/3 of a cup of butter. Now I have this butter melted. And about 4 tablespoons of milk. So I'm just going to eye it. And now we mix that all around. No, I'm not going to use my hands at this point. Now you can see at this point it's still a little bit dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit more milk, but just a little bit, because don't forget, when we add the bananas, it's going to provide moisture. So we don't want to add too much. We just want a little milk, enough just to work our batter. Now we take our bananas, and the way I like the bananas is to be anywhere between this point or to this point. I do not like using ripe bananas when they're completely yellow. So for me it's between here and here. Now you take a fork, chop up the bananas. Now I'm using 2 bananas here. You can use a little bit more if you want. And you smash all the bananas down like this. Keep on, you know me, keep on spinning your bowl. I find it's the easy way to work, just by spinning your bowl. And let's smash all these bananas. I don't want to turn them into a paste. I just want to get them down and broken. So let's not turn them really into a paste. Now, just before we add the bananas, at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract, maybe 1/3 to 1/2 teaspoon. And we stir that all around again. Now we take our bananas and put the banana there. And we mix all that up. Now you're going to see that the banana will now provide the moisture that you want for the batter. But if you see that the batter is still not the way you like it, then just add a little bit of milk, but do not add more than a teaspoon at a time. I would not recommend it. So if I'm looking at this batter right now, I can see that it is fine, but I just want a little bit more moist, so I just add a little bit of milk more. So basically you have to eyeball it. But after you make 2 or 3, then you're going to see that it becomes easier and easier. And this is very, very fast to make. I make this all the time. Now I have the batter exactly the way I want it. Don't forget also to scrape the bottom and all the way around. And there's our batter. Now I take a normal loaf pan. I would say it's what, 4 inches by 3 inches by 10 inches, I guess. And I'm going to show you a little trick that my mother taught me. Now, I know this is Teflon, but still, Teflon is Teflon is Teflon. And after a while, it does create a little bit of scratches, no matter how much care you take of it. So what I do is I take a little bit of the butter that's at the bottom of the dish here, and I just basically paint the inside, and I paint all the sides with the butter. So now we have it all coated with butter inside. and we put that to the side. Now what we do is we take chopped walnuts. These I had to filter to make sure there was no shells inside, because one time I did it here and there was still shells inside. So just go through it and and take a look and eyeball it, make sure there's no shells in here, because there's nothing worse than somebody biting into your banana bread and they hit a shell. So you can chop them up fine. I kind of like them quartered and halved. So we put them in there, and I put that in the end. We mix that really, really good. And I bring that back into a bowl. And now I let that sit for about 10 minutes for all ingredients to intermingle. And now we're back. Take our pan, which has been greased, and we just start bringing the batter all the way down to the middle. And what I do now is I just basically straighten it, and then what I do is I just basically draw a line down the middle. Now what I do is I take just a little bit of any kind of syrup or butter, and I just give it a very, very faint line on top like that. Just very, very faint. Just like that. And now it's ready for the oven. The oven is now preheated for 350 degrees, and I'm going to leave it in there until I start to see the top brown. Once the top is brown, then what I'm going to do is show you how to give it a little test to see if it's done. And we are back. Here it is. It was in the oven at 350 for 45 minutes. The reason I don't give you the temperatures at the beginning before I put it in, because this is a gas stove, so the timing would be a little bit less. If it is a electrical stove, then you would go, I would say, to about 50 to 55 minutes. So when this was in the oven, and I took this wooden spear and I inserted it right down into the middle there, and I pull it back, and then I just basically touch it and I feel how dry it is. It would still be a little bit moist because of the banana mixture, but basically you could feel that it is cooked. So now we have it on the rack, and we give it about 10 minutes before I remove it. Now it's been sitting for 10 minutes. You grab it and rock it first back and forth, get it moving a little bit, and then just flip her over, and we just turn it over, and I let that sit for about, let's say, 20 minutes to half an hour. So before I start cooking, here we go. Here is our banana bread with walnuts and banana. It is absolutely perfect. Now comes the famous taste test. Now normally I put butter on top of this, but today I'm not going to put any butter, because if you look at it, it is absolutely moist, a lot of almonds, and it smells just out of this world. So excuse me while I try this. There's no words here to explain this. There's absolutely no words. This is just the old-fashioned way is the best way. I don't care what other people put here, this is the best for me, and I have to take one more bite. And this is just perfect without butter, with onion in it. Excuse me while I take a third bite. Boy, this is too much. This is too much. This is just too delicious. Well, thank you very much for being with me, and I hope to see you on my next video. Thank you very much, and please do not forget to subscribe me. Thank you.